This on? Yes, I believe it is. What's going on, guys? It's your guy, Lord Willie. I hope you guys are doing great. I know I was supposed to do the awesome on John Cena a bit earlier, but knowing how pissed I was due to a petty doofus sabotaging this entire retirement tour, and intentionally, as well as many others that were sabotaged under that big nose doofus, so I needed to digest it a little bit in order to pay John Cena justice, and I will do it not only in one video, but two. And I'd like to thank Alan for giving me a great idea as to how, in my opinion, things can be fixed in JCW. And by that time, I will also be giving AEW a chance. And and as you guys know, you can either, if you have like a reliable link, you can just let it to me in the comments or in a post. And before that, I'd like you guys to give this video as much likes as possible. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed already, and turn on the notifications to be aware of whether I upload like a post or like a video. Without any further ado, let's get going. Let's look back in all honesty at John Cena's career. From like 2002 when he started, up until the retirement tour. Throughout the ups and downs. The first start when he started back in 2002, any person with a modicum of common sense would say, you know what, there actually is something I can do with the guy. At least there is something, there is a good base to build from. Only needed the rightful gimmick for the start. Yeah, I know the ruthless aggression and all was a kind of a ridiculous one, but at least he's done it not that bad. I will be fair. Was it cringe? Absolutely. And one of the gimmicks that actually saved him, in my opinion, and was one of his favorites, even though the version of John Cena that I prefer was the one from like 2005, I'd say, up until 2007 before the injury. That's a version that I've always preferred, because it had like very cool feuds, whether it could be some feud like Edge. So yes, also yeah, Edge was the 2006 feud, which was a pretty awesome one, and one of the reasons why John Cena is awesome. And kudos to Edge as well for doing a great work for it. When he came to Raw, when he had like a and should have been used in a feud with Christian and all, and many others. As for the SmackDown, yes, it was when he got turned into a babyface. That's where the success came. And how old was he at that time? He was 27 when he got his push. The rightful age to push someone as a reliable talent for the upcoming future. Not like nowadays, a certain doofus does it. He'll rely on a bunch of late 30s to early 40s, which will be in less than 5 years out the door, and won't be reliable. If you want to invest in someone, you invest in them while they're young, and while they're still they'll still be able to carry the torch for as long as possible. And also around that period, they also had like good feuds with Randyorton and all. Then the injury happened with the Kennedy and all, and he came back, and a few injuries happened here and there. And at least I can always give credit to John Cena, is that he always came back in like shorter periods, due to what, like, let's say a doctor like tells him like 6 months to a year, he'll come back in 4. Why is that, Willie? Well, pretty simple. Because John Cena at least had the build to sustain the injuries, which is why it's important to have a build and to work in a smart way. Yes, injuries can happen in this business, much like it can happen in like football or like any other thing of that caliber, but at the very least, minimize the chances of that happening. That's something you should do. Work smart, not hard. I know I've said it multiple times before, but that's the thing if you want to maximize your career as long as possible. You have to work smart. Take another example. Someone like The Miz. Someone like an LA Knight, for example. Who else? Someone like that works pretty smart. Someone like Edge did before, to some extent. Yeah, he had the charlatanistic heel and all, but at least he understood. And around 2008 to 2010, it was mostly like filling more championships to John Cena, but at the very least, I can give him credit. He remained consistent with his character throughout most of his career. Up until a certain doofus, here's what he thought. I need the pop. Elimination, emasculation chamber is sucking. No sell, no tickets sold or whatever. It's so ass. I need a moment to generate a pop and capitalize from it. So what am I gonna do? Do the opposite of what The Rock proposed. Even though The Rock's idea was way better than mine, but I'm such a petty ass, I have to make my way on the highway. And look at the results now, you doofus. You always do things out of your ego, and yet you shit the bed. You're not fit for the job, you never were. I remember when I said it on Facebook many years ago that you're an absolute buffoon as a booker. No, people called me a bigot. People called me, I don't know what I'm talking about. People like, didn't take me seriously, and like, death threatened me and hyper obsessed. Much like I'm seeing now on Twitter. Just because I said that Gunther is the personification of mediocrity by excellence, and I stand by it. Gunther is trash. And I know what some neckbeards will say, but when did Kurt Angle tapped out Hulk Hogan? Here is the difference. Yeah, you can make that analogy, but there is a major difference why it doesn't work. And here is why. I know I'm doing a Walt Clyde. I'll do how Walt Clyde did. And here's why. Kurt Angle, at the very least, looked credible as a wrestler. He has the background. He's smart enough to work in a way that is absolutely believable, fitting his character and his style, and he's a versatile talent. Yeah, he can be like a goofy person, and he can get serious when things call for it. Also, Kurt Angle had charisma and had a build that is believable. Look at Gunther by comparison. Chicken legs, skinny fat ass, and looks like a turkey. With no personality, no charisma, no promo skills, spent thousands of years on the business and learned absolutely jack shit. And if you wanted to honor a retirement tour, and that's how it works in any other business. Like, let's take an example like Amazon. If some employee was to retire from that, or let's take another example like Microsoft, or like Lenovo, or like a cars manufacturer, for example, like a Volkswagen, or like a Renault, or a Peugeot, or like Chevrolet, or whichever the case might be. Even if you have like the most mediocre employee as possible, logic and common sense indicate that at least on their way out, you gave them a proper send-off. Yeah, even if, let's say, you had like differences in the past and all, it's totally understandable. In any work, you'll have people that you're not gonna agree with. You'll have people you're gonna disagree with. You'll have people that will want envy you and want to put you out of your job and other things. Those things are understandable. But the way you deal with those things, I know I'm doing a bit of a side tangent rant, but I'm sure all of you guys, the smart ones, will understand. Here it goes. Let's say you have someone that's trying to hackle you or like whatever, provoke and all. I'll take an example. That's a direct shot at David. I'll mimic how he was saying. My name is David Otunga, the gay list. Well, all of you know me as the most promising rookie on Gay NXT. Yeah, that's a direct shot at you. or even like a shot at a fat ass retard named Bully Ray, who was like, "Oh, the greatest storytelling." How is it beneficial that like Gunther retired, Gunther the mediocre retired Cena? Yes, he retired Goldberg. What were the benefits? I know Marx will be saying, bangers, he does bangers. You're deluded, you morons. You're deluded. Look at it in all objectivity. All he does is, yeah, a basic moveset, and he does it really bad. How can you tolerate it and pretend it's excellent? It's mediocre, and I'm being extremely generous, mind you. And I'm being extremely generous when I call Gunther the mediocre, because he is the personification of mediocrity by excellence. But you'll have Marx hating on, let's say, a Brock Lesnar. Oh, a criminal, blah, 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 blah. If that was true, he would have been locked in jail. He's not. So, fuck off. Fuck off with that argument. Or like, let's say, there would have been logical proofs, and he would have been under like a investigation and had like a arrest thing and so on and so forth. The fact he didn't have any of those things means that he's not guilty, and take a hike. Take your loss and beat it. Anyway, I'll keep on this tangent rant, and I'll go back to John Cena, which is the main topic of this video. I will explain. Marx will say, Brock Lesnar, suplex, F5. Less is more. Brock Lesnar can do those things, and Brock Lesnar is actually a very intelligent man. He is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He is real excellence. I'll even paraphrase it in French if you prefer. Brock Lesnar est une personne très intelligente. C'est un talent qu'on va rencontrer une fois dans la vie. Et Brock Lesnar est de l'excellence et de la réelle excellence. That's what it means in French. I hope you'll check this one out, Cola. Shout out to you, dear. And shout out to the primes, all of you, like Brian, Chris, JT, Paladin, Brandon, Jerry, and all. Big ups to all of you, and much love to all of you, my guys. God bless you. And shout out to you, NC, JC, and Truly. As well as you, King Mike. You guys mean the world to me. Much love, brothers. God bless you. Now let's go back to John Cena. Yeah, whether you may like him or you hate him, but you cannot deny the reliability that John Cena had, as well as his work ethic. And his whole persona was sabotaged willingly throughout this retirement tour. Yeah, the heel turn and all. He made him look like a punk. Even if, let's say, yeah, there is a heel and all, but at least, like, let's say you're a heel. You'll do like a cheap shot. You'll do whatever. But no, anything to make Cody look like Super Cody, when in reality, back when John Cena was a WWE champ or a World Heavyweight champ, Cody was a jobber. A Gobber. And a talent that would be like on pre-shows. Even like someone who had his match canceled at WrestleMania. They were like, no, there's no time for you, Cody Rhodes. When they had like, I don't know which WrestleMania it was, like 28 or 29, when they had The Rock and Cena. Another one of the reasons why John Cena is awesome, which is a spoiler to the awesome on John Cena. The thing with The Rock, both times, kudos to both of them, and kudos to you, Dwayne, for putting this thing and making it work the way you did, alongside John. Much respect to both of you. As an example, yeah, at the time when Cena got his push, yeah, Stone Cold left, Brock Lesnar left, Goldberg left. What were they gonna do? That would be like another example of a culture, like Volkswagen. After they made the Mach 4 Golf, which was a success, one of the, according to on the Wikipedia of that car, it's considered the best seller of Volkswagen, even though the second one was sold a lot better. The Mach 2 Golf was sold a lot better, and the third one was more like a preppy type of car. That's where the Golf became more of a preppy type of car at that time, around the third generation. But you get what I'm saying. Volkswagen wouldn't stop just because, oh, we made a Mach 4 and all. No, that's about it. No. The demand is going to be continuing. Will they make as good of a product as they did before? Sometimes it can be as good, sometimes it could be a little less better. Yes, but at the very least, it was like the next generation, the fifth one, was a bit decent. Way better than today's generation of cars. The cars around that generation, whether it could be like a Toyota Yaris of the early 2000s, or like a Honda Civic of the early 2000s, or like a Nissans of that era, and many other brands like Buick, Chevrolets of that time were a lot more reliable than today's modern version. Same thing as the wrestlers. I know you've understood the analogy. That was just an example. Now let's continue with the John Cena thing. John Cena, at the very least, and I've always given him credit, has been able to hold the torch for as long as he could, and throughout his time remained consistent. And why I think this character has been ruined with this with the move that making him like tap to Gunther, because John Cena's whole mantra was never give up, and including good values. I know many kids, I don't know them personally, but many people around the world, I'm sure of it, took the inspiration out of John Cena's character to never give up and all, and to fight through cancer and many other issues and all, were able to come up to win over this. Yes, I know it's thanks to God's will and the treatments and all, but the courage given to them through the character of John Cena was something that you do not destroy. Yeah, you could have done like John Cena passing out, or like losing in a pin or whatever, but no. I know Vince McMahon, as much as people hated him, he would have never done such a thing. Because when you look at the two by comparison, you have someone like a John Cena should be squashing Gunther. Any person of the Ruthless Aggression era, if he was around that time, Gunther would be a jobber. Snitsky would be squashing him. And yes, Snitsky was a big guy jobber and all, but at least Snitsky looked more credible and at least had a modicum of muscles. Something that Gunther doesn't. You'll see like... Here's how I'll mimic Noseman when he said to Punk. Skinny fat ass. That's what he is, a skinny fat ass. Chicken legs. Chicken legs and titties instead of pecs. He has titties. No abs. And like elongated arms that have no biceps, no forearm, no triceps, no nothing, no shoulders at all. He looks like a refrigerator. He has the build of a refrigerator. Anyway. While when you look by comparison, like around the 2005, 2004 and all, the mid-card at that time was way better than today's main event scene. You had people like Randy Orton, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Christian, Edge, Jericho. Cena was in the upper mid-card going to the main event around that time. And many others. All of them that were very good to excellent. There is no excuse why such talents cannot, such a level of talents cannot be found anymore. There is no excuse. That would be as if, I'll give another example. Like let's say in a modern Volkswagen Golf. You have like a 1.6 engine of 100 horsepower, and you'll be pretending that it's, oh, amazing, oh, haven't I seen it all before? Yet you'll remember it being a thing that is available in a third generation Volkswagen Golf, which was around the late 90s, and a Mach 4 and a Mach 5, a 1.6 engine with around 100 horsepower. That's not something to be impressed, even though you'll be having like the same thing, but under different circumstance. And that's one of the reasons why those nerds in the wrestling community have accepted mediocrity, and they wanted to force it down our throats. I know some retards and all were like hyper obsessing when I like told those things, and called out how WWE got booted from Fox to USA Network. They were like, a better TV deal. Some retard who was saying that, a better TV deal, more money and all. No, because the WWE has power over USA Network, so they can do however they want. But with Fox or like Netflix or many other companies, they don't. If WWE underdelivers with much like they did with Fox, Fox will boot their asses. Much like Netflix would boot their asses and many others. Why do you think USA made a 3-hour thing? To make up the money lost by their deal. That's about it. And to destroy their ratings even more, and they make money out of it with ads and all. That's the difference. But no, when I call such a thing like that, or like call Gunther being a mediocre, no, I'm saying like I don't know what I'm talking about, because rationality to those nerds is a foreign concept. I'll give you another example. To them, being rational and understanding things, that would be as if, like, I'll take an example of a scientific thing, like demonstrating a formula, like the equation of the speed, and a fall in physics. You'll have the weight, the resistance of the wind, and Archimedes' force. Logic indicates that. And you apply the second law of Newton and so on and so forth. Using like knowing some parameters, you replace A and B and whatever, you get the equation. Is it rocket science? Absolutely not. But apparently to those nerds it is. Much like understanding common sense. Yes, I know wrestling, what made it successful was a sports entertainment format. You have a mixture between the, like a fight, all the while this fight has to have sense on TV. Like let's say there is animosity between wrestler A and wrestler B. Let's say like personal heat between the two. Or like let's say those two don't like each other in real life. Implement it and use it in order to prop up the thing. You could prop it up with like segments, like promos, or like confrontations backstage, or like surprise attacks in a parking lot, or like interventions during a match. Whichever the case might be. Is it too hard to do? Apparently it is, to those nerds. Anyway, and now I'm getting a bit carried away, but it's a rant on... It's a rant and illustration of common sense, because the title of the video is John Cena deserves better, Triple H is a petty ass, and marks are stupid. Because that's the title, so I'm trying to refer to all the themes in that video. Now we get to like, we'll continue with the John Cena. Yes, because his character, the never give up and all, the hustle, loyalty, respect, rising above hate and other good values and all, was like an inspiration. It could help you, even in real life. Like let's say you're going through tough times, something that can happen. But when you see someone like John Cena and his work ethic and all, it can motivate you. Like let's say you're training and all, and you're like at your breaking point, and you feel like you want to give up. You don't, because you'd remember John Cena. Or like, I'll give another example. You'll remember like Hulk Hogan with the good values, to eat your vitamins, do your prayers, and so on and so forth. You'd emulate someone like The Rock with his charisma and the good looks and all. You'd emulate him. Stone Cold, you'd emulate him with it. What? I'm son. Stone Cold Steve Austin's gonna open up a can of whoop ass, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Let me know what you think of my Stone Cold impression, by the way. And as I saw from the post that I done last night, apparently you guys enjoyed, out of the 4 impressions that I was able to put in this post, you guys enjoyed Noseman more. And let me know if you think like there is an impression that I need to perfect. You can leave it in the comment section down below. I won't do a Walt Clyde or like on you. And you know how I am. I'm not a pompous jackass like either one of those two dorks are. Anyway. And if you wanted to do like a pop and like create a buzz or whatever. Yeah, you had John Cena turning heel. You'll have him like some sort of explaining that him being pissed at today's fans for accepting mediocrity and blah 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 blah, and you go from there. And like throughout his retirement year, you have people like, let's say, a Randy Orton or like many of his older rivals trying to bring sense into him. Yeah, he defeats them by a heelish thing and all, but throughout the retirement, he's like having buyer's remorse for turning heel. And like King Mike said it, big ups to you, Mike. A very logical story development. Big ups to you, brother. Keep on doing what you're doing, my guy. Keeping it real and forget the fake. That's the mantra on this channel too. All about honesty and realism. And realistic opinions. And I'm sure you know it, brother. Anyway. And you could have done like, yeah, he retires with the title and he'll like say, cut a retirement speech like him saying like he realized the errors of his ways. You people were there all along with him, supporting him and never doubting him and blah 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 blah. That would have made more sense, and that would have generated a bigger pop and would have been a proper send off. Or like, yeah, let's say you went with the Rock's plan all along, and I know John sometimes can be a bit of a selfless person, but my guy, this was your retirement tour. You can like make things go your way for once, because look at the how reliable you were for this company. You were an example for not just myself but many people around the world, to inspire us as in your ethic as to being professionals in our works, being professional in real life, being respectful to people, and many other good values, John. That's what you did, my friend. So, a proper send-off would have been way better, because you deserve it. You deserve a proper send-off. You deserve better than what you had. And I sincerely mean it, and I'm sure many others do. And yeah, the people that were pissed about John Cena's retirement, you guys are right. But the morons that were justifying it, John Cena went his way. Use your brains, morons. Use your brains. Do you sincerely think that someone like a John Cena would want to go out getting cooked on his way out by 3 ladies and showing that his entire persona was a fluke? Are you people out of your freaking minds? Really? Are you out of your minds? Anything to defend this cocksucker named Triple H? Anything? Yet he himself, he says, I'll mimic what he said. The internet's not real. I don't care about the fans. If you don't like it, fuck off. That's what he said. Which means he does not care about you. He only cares about himself. And he books a show for his liking. It's very evident. Look at how Roman Reigns has been treated ever since he lost the title. Jobber Oblivion being carried out on a stretcher by Bronson Reed, someone that Roman should be squashing and making circles around this fat ass. Another example, LA Knight. I know LA Knight is not excellence and all, but he's as close as you can get to excellence, and that's a sign that your roster sucks. Someone like an LA Knight who has charisma, who's pretty good on the mic, who looks like a star, and carries himself as such. Yeah, I know he's a 40-year-old and all, and the hypocrisy of those nerds. They say, LA Knight is too old. Yeah, Gunther is in his 40s near. And Gunther has 0 of the valuable traits that are required to be a mainstream star. He has nothing. He offers fuck all. Always did, always will. He's the same boring schmuck, that boring sack of shit that was Walter many years ago. He's the same boring sack of shit. No, I know they'll say that professional wrestling. Yeah, look at the ratings that were under professional wrestling. Record lows. What made it successful? Sports entertainment. And what are the initials of WWE? World Wrestling Entertainment, which means you do wrestling content all the while entertaining people worldwide. Is it rocket science, nerd? No. Logic and common sense. That's what it is. But no, I know you people hate me, so fuck it. I'll embrace a heel persona on the IWC. I'll be the Andrew Tate. How about that? I'll shave my head and we'll become more like a snobbish persona. I'll embrace it. Fuck it. I know the good ones will know me as the real person that I am. But to those nerds, since I piss you off, fuck it. I'll embrace it. I'll embrace a heel persona. Fuck it. Anyway. As I was saying about the proper send-off. Yeah, you could have done it like that. Or you could have gone with The Rock's idea, which was a logical one. You had like Cody selling his soul to The Rock and all, and have them can Cena overcome the odds one more time? That would have been a more plausible story. It would have got more of a pop, and would have like elevated your ratings. Yeah, and from there, you could like throughout the retirement tour and tribute to the older John Cena rivals and all, you could have like used it in order to capitalize and use someone young that at least would retire John Cena, but at least someone young who deserves it and who would benefit from it. But no, Mr. Petty Ass named Fraud Triple H Levesque. I know he's Paul, but he's a fraud, so I call him Fraud Nosferatu Levesque. No, he's like, no, nobody can surpass my legacy. My legacy must be protected. You pompous jackass. It's not all about you. You are no different than CM Punk. I know. Some people may say it's repetitive, the hatred I had for CM Punk. I thought of it as the idea. I know the hater, he hates Cody Rhodes, so I thought I'd make my own, being my hatred for CM Punk, which is a real life hatred towards the guy. I'm sure you guys have understood it. Anyway. And thank you for bringing this up and bringing the examples you did, Alan. And I'd like to thank you for the idea that you gave me for tomorrow's video, which is, what are the things that would be required to improve JCW? Thank you very much, brother, for this idea. God bless you. And thank you to Roman, and thank you to Damien, and thank you to each and every one of you. You guys mean the world to me, and I will be giving AEW a chance, and JCW, I'm enjoying it so far, and I hope JCW will succeed and get even a better deal, and get more success, because I'm really enjoying the characters, like Vince Russo's character, Vito, kudos to you, Mr. LaGrasso, like Jasmine's faction, which, in my opinion, I'll talk about it tomorrow in the upcoming video, Too Tough Tony and many others, Kerry Morton and all. That's for tomorrow. And now let's get to Petty Ass Fraud Nosferatu Levesque. Because if you notice, even throughout his career, before in the 90s and all, what was a reoccurrent trait in him? Him like wanting to be at the top and backstage politics. That was a major and reoccurrent thing, right? And always hating people that outshined him. I'll give you an example of people that were better than him. Someone like The Rock. Before Dwayne became the dominant personality, when you had The Rock, the People's Champ, The Rock from the 90s, if this man, what The Rock is cooking. If this man, what The Rock is cooking. Or like, damn son, Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to open up a can of whoop ass, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Austin 316 said, I just whooped your ass. Those guys were charismatic, and you'd get invested in them. Or like even Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. Well, let me tell you something, brother. What you gotta do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? All those guys, what they had in common. They were better than Triple H in terms of charisma. They were better than him in terms of acting and selling and all. And even like, I'll take it, someone like a Kurt Angle, who was way better than him as a wrestler and in everything required. Yes, was Triple H doing a decent to good job as a heel? I'll give him that. But you've noticed something around the years. A very flagrant insecurity popping up throughout the entire time. Even if, like, you understand the character and all, but there are things that are way too evident to see and are way too flagrant that you can understand if someone is not a good actor, and if they do it way too good, that means that they are like that in real life. That's exactly what it means. Which is the example. I'll give an example. Like Seth Rollins when he was pissed off when CM Punk returned. Yes, Seth is a horrible actor. That is an undeniable truth. But here's the thing. How come it looked very real? Because that is. But the booking doesn't make any sense under Triple H. Under Fraud Levesque. That petty doofus. No. He'll take the most irrational thing. Because according to those nerds, no. It's just entertainment. Yes. Entertainment. It is. I totally agree. But when you write something, that thing that you write has to have sense. I'll give another analogy. Somewhat like, let's say in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku became a Super Saiyan for the first time. Yeah, was it a dick move that Frieza killed Krillin? Yes, it was. But it was needed for a bigger goal. Or like another example, when Cell squashed the Android 16's head in order for Gohan to become a Super Saiyan 2. That was a thing that correlated with the story. Like, can Gohan unlock his true power? Or like, can Goku overcome the odds by defeating Frieza and having revenge for the Saiyans? Yes, I know it's Dragon Ball Z and the characters are fictional characters, but you get what I'm trying to say, is that thing made sense according to the development of the story. And that's how it should be. Whether it could be like on Law and Order SVU, or like in any other show, like let's say Big Bang Theory, or like Earl from before, or like Sons of Anarchy, or anything of that level. When you write something, it has to have a continuation with the previous thing that you started, and a logical development of the events. You don't like start something, let's say event A, and you go to event B, C, with no correlation or anything whatsoever with it. That should have indicated, you people, that Triple H is an incompetent moron, a petty, a spiteful, and a vindictive jackass, that he will not hesitate to sabotage the people that would actually help him just out of his own ego. Like he said with the John Cena when his last match, he said, "No, I do what's best for business." No, you do what's best for your ego, you pompous bitch. That's what you do. You do what's best for your ego. I gave another example. Randy Orton's comeback. You outshine it with prima donna looking bitch. I know I've brought up the UFC example and all, and it was getting a bit repetitive, but the point was to illustrate that how can any normal person still like someone like a CM Punk, even though reality showed multiple times that he's a massive piece of shit and he's an ungrateful jackass and he's an ungrateful cunt. It was shown multiple times. Even like in the press conference, which is a ridiculous thing that's been done under TKO and all. Press conferences make it look real. Whatever. Who cares? I'll give an example. Who was the one that helped you establishing Summer of Punk, you bitch? Who jobbed out to you in order so that you could be elevated? Who was it? I'll give you a hint. It was John Cena. No, but you have to kiss Triple H's ass so much that because you have to, so that he'll give you a longer title reign, so you can delude yourself and think, "Oh, I'm a legit badass. Look at me." Yeah, someone like Logan Paul would bitch you if you were to fight him in real life. And I would be laughing and I would be encouraging Logan. How about that? Even if, like, let's say I was at attendance and all, I would, like, boo your ass straight to hell. Yeah, you'd get triggered and all. You try to lay a hand on me, and I will beat the living dog shit out of you. And ridicule you and prove the fraud that you really are. Anyway, now I've been getting carried a little bit, but let's go back to Triple H. Look at the damage this guy has done. Yeah, the curtain call and all, that was From there, he should have been like fired or like really punished, instead of like getting back on Vince's good graces. Another example that illustrates that he's a massive piece of shit. Who was the one that was very loyal to him and like helped him with the ideas and all? Chyna, God rest her soul. And what did he do to her? Much like Stephanie did to Test, too. That should indicate you that those people are pieces of shit. What did they do? Became a couple together and later on got married, while ruining the lives of Test and Chyna, God rest their souls. I didn't know them on a personal level, but the fact you do something like that to other people that actually loved you and cared about you, that's a sign that you're a piece of shit. And you could see in Stephanie around the early 2000s that evil, malicious look. Yeah, you could say like the control freak and all, like Vince McMahon. Yes, Vince McMahon had his demons like many of us. All of us as human beings, we are not perfect. We have our flaws. That's the only thing that is great, which is God. He has no flaws. All of us, any one of us, we have our qualities and our flaws. We must deal with them and coexist with our good traits and our bad traits. Yes, some traits can be fixed and some traits can be improved and all, but flaws are always going to be existent. You must deal with it. Another example about Triple H being like showing how much of an insecure, petty ass he really is. Sabotages. Yeah, I know it was Randy a bit with his like anger management issues and all around those times. But when he was like when he won the World Heavyweight Championship, what was Triple H's first intent? Yeah, friendship and betrayal. How dare you? I made a choice. The choice was to take the World Heavyweight Championship. My World Heavyweight Championship. Is it written under your name, you pompous dick? Is there a contract that indicates that this property belongs to you? Are you that much of a delusional idiot? I guess hubris syndrome has been a very long time disease that you suffered with, isn't it, Noseman? I suppose it is. And it's becoming more flagrant throughout the years. Another example that happened later on in those events. Batista winning the Royal Rumble in 2005, and even before Batista won. Look at how pissed he was in like a segment on Raw in 2005. I believe the one that was after New Year's Revolution. When like Randy exposed the footage. No, Triple H, what was his first reaction? No, let's avoid this. Yeah, you're trying to make things up. You're trying to stir conflict between me and Dave. Dave is my friend and blah, 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 blah. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I paraphrased it to the most accurate point. And what was Dave's reaction? I'd like to see the footage. Roll it. And when he saw the footage, you'll notice that Triple H at the very least could have done a save. Yeah, let's say you break the pin or whatever. You jump in order to break it, at the very least. Is it something impossible to do? No, it wasn't. It was done out of an intentional purpose. Just so he could be a world champion again. Because his ego has to be pampered too. He needs Pampers diapers in order to feel validated like a teenager groupie. At this point. Dude. You're way over your 50s and you're coming in your 60s. Alright? Your teenager crisis years are long gone. 40 years ago, my friend. Or even before, like 45 to 15 years ago. Deal with it. You man-child. You immature how can I say it? I'll think of another. You immature donkey, how about that? Because you're a donkey. That's what you are, Triple H, and that's what you've always been. And yeah, after all, blah 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 blah. Always throughout his rivalries, you'll notice he's like being either paired against someone so low by comparison to him that axiomatically you'll cheer for him. Or like, let's say, if like he's like in a feud with like someone like Randy Orton or like a John Cena or like someone like the Undertaker and all, he'll always be carried. Doesn't that remind you of someone? Yes, I can axiomatically think of one. One of his flunkies, an absolute incompetent. Which is none other than, yes you are boring, you're trash, you suck, bitch. No, I know it's not her lyrics, but I tried to mimic it in the most accurate way to describe how much of an annoying cunt Rhea Ripley is. That's another example of someone that is incompetent and is being carried in all her feuds. It has to look credible as a threat, even though it's absurd. She's not even strong enough to lift Io, who weighs like a twink. Who's a twink? And yeah, another way of his to insult people's intelligence. Have people that were supposed to be afraid of AJ Lee, as if AJ Lee is this legit badass, as if she's like a Goldberg or a Brock Lesnar that we're supposed to crap our pants on about. Or like a Bobby Lashley. No, AJ Lee looks like a scrawny little twink, has no ass, no tits, nothing, looks like a child, and still does, and has Piccolo ears. Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z's ears. Have you noticed it? And looks like a mongoloid. All the while being a bipolar or a cyclotimic, which means she has cycles and it depends on which cycle she's in. Whether she could be on a good one or she can be on a bad one. It depends on which cycle. Is it, and marrying someone that is so fucked up mentally like CM Punk, is it gonna help? No, it will only make things worse. You marks need to stop deluding yourself in this delirium that you created in your mind, and this illusion. Wake the fuck up and see things exactly for what they are. But no, when someone like me or like King Mike or TWRP and all, we call things exactly for what they are. No, we're being called the bigots, or like a J Rants and all when he calls it for being real, or like Casual Q. Apparently you hate it because it goes against your way. You morons will never cease to amaze me. And I wonder how is it possible that some idiots like that are allowed to hold like jobs and keep them for long periods of time. I guess it's a common tendency in modern society to accept mediocrity and to praise it. I guess it became a common thing, I suppose. Or maybe I'm a bit too old-fashioned. Maybe being rational these days is something forbidden. It's haram. Much like, remember like Andrew Tate when you... Yeah, I know Andrew's case was a bit like you'll see like hints of hypocrisy and all, but at the very least, the values that he encouraged of a man being like respectful and all, invest in money and blah 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 blah, were like good values to emulate and to take examples from. And masculinity and ladies looking like feminine and not the transsexual and blah 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 blah. Those were at least good values. I'll give Andrew Tate credit for it. Anyway, and that's those were examples to illustrate things. I'm sure you guys have understood it. Now we'll continue on Triple H. Throughout the COO and responsible for talent, live events, and creative, and blah blah blah, around those years when Vince was getting the blame and all. Use your brains. When has Vince's taste changed? When has Vince's taste changed from like hot-looking ladies and people who look like bodybuilders? When has his taste changed? For God's sake. Look at the recent example he was trying to push before you Marks wanted him out. He was starting to push Austin Theory. How old was Austin Theory around that time? 25 or something, I suppose? Yes, he was around that 25, 24, 25. Which is a good age to start pushing someone if you want to establish someone. And Vince saw something in Austin Theory. What does this pompous jackass do? The first moment that he gets in power.
No, see, Kevin Owens, I gotta send you bury this jobber because no, there's nothing to him. No, he has to earn his opportunities.
Yeah, what do you mean by earn his opportunities? Wrestling for thousands of years on the indies? Coming when he's 40 years old and do a Cody Rhodes? No! Fuck you, Noseman. That's not how it works. The way it works is the way Vince McMahon did it before. Are there things I agree with Vince McMahon and all? Absolutely not. There are things that I don't agree with. But at the very least, I can acknowledge the fact if there is someone on God's earth that knows the wrestling business, the ins and out of this business, better than myself, better than anyone on earth, that would be Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yeah. That would be Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon knew the rightful formula to make it work. And when you have a working formula, you stick to it. I'll give you an example of that. Like you have the equation of a tangent at a certain point in the functions and all. The formula of the equation of the tangent at a certain point, at a point xy, will remain the same. It doesn't matter the value numbers, the values. It doesn't matter which value x and y can take. It doesn't matter. The principle is the same. You'll find I'll say it in French since I know it better in French. Vous allez retrouver une droite. You'll find something straight. Logic indicates that. You're not gonna try to hide the sun. Or you'd be deluding yourself just because it pleases you. Like let's say you have between two Volkswagen Golfs. I'll take the example. Like let's say you have a 2003 Volkswagen Golf, a TDI 90 horsepower, and you have a 2001 or a 2001, yes, either 115 horsepower or 130 or 150. Either one of those versions in the diesel fuel. Not because your car is the recent one that it will have better performances. Absolutely not. No, but some morons will say, no, just because my Golf is newer, it's better. Newer doesn't necessarily mean better. You're seeing it nowadays. The newer stars in WWE are worse than the ones that were before. Are worse than them. And you saw it multiple times. Yeah, you can say from Hogan, The Rock, and all to Cena, was it a bit of a decrease? Yes, it was, but at least I'll give credit to John Cena, and much respect to him once again. He was able to make the most out of what he had, and that's a sign that this guy deserves respect and deserves better. And that's a sign that John Cena is a reliable talent that you can trust, that you can count on. Much like another example that someone you can rely on. Like a Drew McIntyre, who at least was able to help sustain ratings and all throughout the COVID time. Someone like a Roman Reigns. But no, under that big-nosed moron, how does he treat them?
No, you do the job. You were Vince, guys. You're better than my mediocrities, so you expose me as an incompetent, and I can't have that.
That's how he'll do. That's the way he'll do things. He's no different than CM Punk. And I brought another example of that. I'm sure I did. Those two, they wouldn't give a solitary fuck if their company goes out of business as long as they're getting their ways. It doesn't matter. And I know people wanted CM Punk to run NXT and all. It will be the same thing as Triple H before. He'll sabotage it and he'll see the people that are actually better than him. No, he's going to bury them. And he'll only encourage debauchery and so on and so forth. And here's what I mean. Another example. I've done a video on it previously. The AJ Lee case. How come he doesn't virtue signal for AJ even though it's his own wife? He's been married with her for God knows how long. No, but he'll virtue signal for Rhea even though Rhea is someone else's wife? And you people find it normal? Now I get to the marks. No, I'll continue on Noseman. And then I'll get to the marks. I'll continue with Noseman. Look at how he treated the people that actually had something. LA Knight, a missed opportunity. Bobby Lashley, a missed opportunity. No.
Creative has nothing for him. I don't have anything to do with it. He doesn't have the right look.
No, just say he's better than my mediocrities. Just say it. You get rid of Bobby Lashley, yet you keep Johnny Gargano? Are you out of your freaking mind? Are you out of your freaking mind, Triple H? What are you benefiting with Johnny Gargano? He looks like a baby. I remember the first time I saw him, or the first time I saw Gunther. I remember exactly what I said. Those people don't belong on TV. Those people, if they were hired, let's say a big if, a majuscule if, those people would be on Velocity or Heat at best. Getting squashed by like Bob Holly. Bob Holly would be squashing them on Velocity or Heat. That's where they belong. Because they're not marketable. They belong for bingo halls. And big ups to you, Metalhead, when you brought it on X. The only people that actually have something are like a Braun Breaker and Oba. The others belong in a bingo hall. Big ups to you. And you said it very well. Facts on facts. I agree with you right there. Anyway, let's go back to another example. Edge. How come you had Edge when he came back? He was the most important guy, even though Edge around that time was 48 going in his 50s. Why? Because the current roster sucks so much that you're invested in the older guys. That's why. And who's to blame?
Noseman. He's the one to blame. Nosferatu Levesque. I am the one to blame, but I can't take accountability because I have hubris syndrome.
Yeah. Notice how he overflooded this roster. And the damage he's done. NXT Black and Gold, another example of the damages, which was nothing more than a waste of time, a detriment to the company, and a money pit. And here's what I mean. A waste of time. It didn't develop anyone reliable. All the good ones that had a bit of potential, he jobbed them out throughout NXT, only to push mediocrities. And when they came to the main roster, who did you notice that had something? The ones who were jobbed out on NXT. And the ones who were shoved on NXT, no. They're one-dimensional fucks. They're not smart enough to understand the fundamentals of the wrestling business. And I know some people will say, oh, no, you're just stuck in the past. You're stuck in the past. Yeah, I'd rather be stuck in the past when at least it was more enjoyable. Which isn't one of the reasons, let's say in the car business, I'm not going to buy a new modern car. No, those modern cars absolutely suck ass. I prefer, let's say, buying a 5th generation's Volkswagen Golf or like a European brand, let's say a 2nd generation's Renault Megane or like a Peugeot 307 or like a Volvo S40 or like a, let's say an Audi A3 of those earlier years, the late 90s, early 2000s models, or like a, let's say a Toyota Corolla of those earlier years, which at least looks elegant and is reliable, that will be with me through thick and thin. And that's what you should aim to have. Not superficial things that will break just like that. And that will cost you loads of money to maintain, and that will break every here and there. While older cars, as I brought up, yes, you'll have maintenance and all, it's totally understandable, but you'll have it once every blue moon. Like you need to change your oil, your filters and all. It happens once every blue moon, like a older Chevrolet Camry or like a Chevrolet Matiz or whichever the case might be. You'll have like oil changes or like bearings, brake pads or something along those lines. Once every every blue moon. Anyway, let's go back to the previous point. Why it was a waste of time? Because NXT was a waste of time. Whack and Old was a waste of time, as well as NXT UK, a detriment and a money pit. And here's why. And here's why. To mimic a certain clown that's defending Triple H. Because instead of developing any talent, all it did was bring Hammerniggers from the indies, keep their same attitudes that they had on the indies, which is not understanding the fundamentals of the wrestling business, being one-dimensional fuckheads, getting injured and getting beat up even more, and when they come to the main roster, no, you have fuck all to do with them because they're not smart enough to pull out anything. A money pit. And here's what I mean by a money pit. Even with the low balling and all, was it profitable? Absolutely not. And a detriment. Look at another example. Here's what I mean by a detriment. It sucked so much that a starting company like AEW was kicking its ass. Tony Khan, with little to no experience by comparison to you, Noseman, was whooping that candy ass. Was laying the smackdown on your candy ass. And speaking of Tony, I sincerely hope that you get your head out of your ass, Tony, and start treating AEW as a company and not a hobby. Capitalize on WWE's mistakes. It's not that hard to do, dude. You can have the guidance of Shahid, your father. Hey, buddy, capitalize on AEW, buddy. I don't want to waste my money on it, buddy. I want it to be profitable, buddy. You had Shane, who wanted to help you. No. You have like some veterans like MVP and all that actually get it. They understand. Another example, someone like an MVP who hates Triple H and brought up valid arguments. And I totally agree with you, MVP. 100%. And you're right, MVP. Yes, were you a mid-carder around your years? Yes, you were. But at the very least, I've always given you credit, and I respect you for it, MVP, is that you understood the fundamentals of the wrestling business. You understood them. I'll give you credit. And I know I'm not the only one saying it. People even like Bret Hart, a veteran, yeah, you may say he's complaining, whatever, but sometimes he's right about this modern wrestling. You cannot enjoy it the way you did many years ago. And he was right praising John Cena being a professional. Bret Hart did it. And he's right because Bret Hart actually understands the business. He understands it's a generational thing. Much like Braun Breaker, as I called out in his promo and all, he should be way better than this. He has like his uncle Scott and his father Rick, the Steiner brothers, which were pretty good. You should be as good as them. That would be as if, I'll take an example, which is not a factual one, but let's assume, an assumption if you prefer. Like, let's assume my father was a carpenter. Let's assume. And it's a family thing that has been going through like since my grandpa or my late grandpa or whatever. It was a family thing. And let's say I'm the one now to take the succession. And that would be as if me being an incompetent by comparison. Would you find it not tolerable? Absolutely not. And that's common sense. When something goes in the family, even if you don't work in it, you know about it enough to pull it off. I'll take another example. Randy Orton, yeah, you may say Nepo baby, blah, blah, blah. Even Dominic Mysterio, for example. At least they get it. They understand it. Even like, if I don't like how she looks nowadays. How dare you not liking the way I look? I look very feminine. I am a beautiful woman. And fuck you, I do not have a dick. Which is Charlotte Flair. I was mimicking her. Let me know what you think of my impression of her. Another example, at least she gets it. Is she as good as Ric Flair? No chance in hell. Is Dominic as good as Rey Mysterio? No chance in hell. Is Randy Orton better than his dad? Absolutely he is. Even someone like a Roman Reigns. He's a good one too. But no, you'll notice under Triple H, the good ones, no, sabotage them to put over this mediocrity that is present these days. and gaslight you like a charlatan to believe that those people are better than they are and that you'll be lucky to have them. No, it doesn't go like that. No, you're paying your money and all. You have the right to get something at least worth your money. You're not working and gaining your money just to spend it like that and make them profitable. And in the booking, you'll notice all the people that had something there were buried. For what? To put over, like let's say, another example. In the world title picture, someone like LA Knight would have benefited much more. You could have built him a bit better and use him in order to build a new talent. I'm sure he would pull it off and he would make something work out of someone. Even someone like The Miz, who's a reliable talent, who's been there for many years, could have had another thing. Someone like an R-Truth could have had one after all these years, and at least R-Truth would be able to pull it off because he's a reliable talent. But no, those people, you don't value them, those men, because they were Vince guys, like R-Truth and The Miz and all. And they're better than your mediocrities. No. So you're going to gaslight us so that we pretend that some jabroni like a Gamian priest, Benham L.J. Uso, Gunther the mediocre, who else?
You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, see that girl? Watch that scene, digging the dancing queen.
That was me mimicking Seth Rollins. With his chainsaw robotic cuck voice. Those are the examples that you'd rather push. Someone like a Seth Rollins, a complete and utter mediocrity. Gunther, the personification of it, by excellence. Someone like, let's say who? Damian Priest. He offers absolutely fuck all, which is one of the sucks I will be doing after Bailey. I'll be doing you a sucks, Gamian. I don't give a fuck. And same for you, Bailey, you Karen-looking, Tony Soprano-looking bitch. I'll be doing you a sucks too. And I'll enjoy doing it. Oh boy. After the awesome on John Cena, you two bitches will be next. In the sucks. And I'll enjoy grilling you jabronis. I'll put on the spices and all. I'll do a nosebend in terms of being petty. Anyway. That was a little bit sarcastic thing. I'm not that petty. I'm just being sarcastic. I'm sure you've understood it. Anyway. Look at the people. Cody Rhodes. Another example of Is he a competent wrestler? Yes, he is. But is he credible to be like this dominant force? Absolutely not. And even the guile thing, as I said it, and I stand by what I said. And if a nerd doesn't like it, that's tough shit. Cody Rhodes is not credible for the role, and he does not act. He's a bad actor. And if you want to present someone like a guy, you should present someone that actually knows how to fight and is a legit badass. Someone like a Brock Lesnar would have been better for that role. Or if you wanted to, another example, someone like a John Cena would have been a lot better. I believe a Brock Lesnar would have been more better for that, because at least Brock actually is a fighter and Guile was a military. And in the army, you learn how to fight and all. Look at the anime and all, when Street Fighter, when Guile whooped both Ken and Ryu's asses. But no. Yes. Is it an anime? Yes, it is. But it made sense looking how built the guy is and how experienced as a fighter the guy is by comparison to the two. And later on the two made progress, which was a logical development of the story. Another side rant, by the way. Which is done to illustrate that Triple H is an incompetent moron, was never fit for the job, and is not fit for the job of booking any other thing. How is it that even me, a random person on God's earth, was able to pitch an idea for a heel persona and a face turn, explaining it in a logical way. Is it that hard? No, it's not. Common sense. That's all. Logic and common sense. Foreign concepts to the IWC cretins, I suppose. A very foreign one, mind you. It's non-existent in their dictionary. And if you introduce it to them, their minds will blink like error 404, which is a thing you find in the computers and all. Error 404. Or in French, as I say it, erreur 404. Not the Peugeot 404. The error code. Anyway. Look at all the people that were brought. The people that were pushed under NXT. Johnny Gargano, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins. I know some dumbass said, Drew was part of Black and Gold. But before that, Drew was a WWE homegrown. Was his first run a bit messed up? Yes, it was. Did it have potential? Yes, it was. Another example that someone that had potential that was messed up a bit. Chris Masters, another one. Had potential with the masterpiece gimmick and all. He did at least good with it. I'll give him that. Big ups to you, Mr. Masters. Big ups to you, Chris. And big ups to you, Drew. Also, who else? Was also another one. Another example of illogical booking. When they had the promo between like Roman and Punk and Cody and all, you saved my life.
I saved your life.
Only to eliminate me from the Royal Rumble. Who the fuck in their right mind would say, you saved me from a Rumble? A Royal Rumble means it's every man for himself. Are there gonna be some temporary alliances? Absolutely. But the end all be all means every man for himself. Like, let's assume, as I said it before, if I had the chance to throw both of you, you and Punk, let's say I had the chance to throw you both, I would throw you both out of the top rope and you wouldn't do nothing about it. I know Punk would hyper obsess.
Yeah, you ruined my main event at WrestleMania.
I'll ruin it and I'll be spiteful about it. How about that? Fuck you, Phil.
Anyway.
I'll explain a little bit. When you do things, you have to make them rational and have them make sense. And not have your top guys look like a bunch of sissies. You're only making yourselves ridicule. Also, how come those now we'll get to the marks. They were saying, oh, it's booming, it's more profitable, oh, the best it's ever been, the bangers. Look at the ratings, decreasing, falling down. Look at also the grades. ESPN ever since that deal. Bad grades all along. TMZ clowned on WWE for John Cena's retirement match. You got clowned on. Fox booted your asses for USA Network. I know some retard said, more profitable. That retard, I know who. You know exactly who you are, you dumbass. No. Because with USA Network, and I asked a dear person to me, which is the bigger company, and many people with a functioning brain would say Fox. Fox has more avenues. USA Network is a pissant company by comparison. The most thing that get views on USA Network is WWE content. So of course WWE is going to have the leverage over them. That would be like, let's say you're the only one who's selling a product. So of course you're going to have the absolute power. Common sense. Not rocket science. Logic indicates that. Morons. Is it that hard to understand? Or oh wait. You hate me because I tell it real. Because I'm realistic, unlike you. I don't delude myself. And I don't pretend mediocrity is excellence. That's why. No, I'm being realistic. And I will not lie to myself to please X, Y, or Z. And I will not lower my standards. I'm not asking the moon. I'm asking only for a wrestler to be at least decent and to understand the fundamentals of this business and to work smart. Do I want people to be injured or like threatening injuries? Or do I want something like an Owen Hart to happen again? Absolutely not. Which is why I tell you, work smart, modern wrestlers. Don't be marks. Those neckbeards will turn on you just like that. They're fickle. They're hypocrites. And I know I'm not the only one that has been saying it. TWRP told you. But you block them for whatever reason. You say that people like TWRP are negative or like King Mike and all. No, they're realistic and they're honest. Those people are honest. And they know what they're talking about. And kudos to you, NC, JC, and Mike. Kudos to you once again. Even someone like The Original. My guy, the Original, even though he does his videos in French and all, because he's from Belgium, you're absolutely right, the OG. And I quote, and I use your quote, you know, of the Brock Lesnar. Big shout out to you, brother, if you happen to see this video. All of us are saying logical things, like Casual Q, J Rant, someone like The Hater to some extent. We explain to you things in a rational point, but no, just because it's rational, no. It goes against your way because it's like let's say you have a mathematical exercise about probabilities. You have like a certain event. You're asked to estimate the probability of event A, and you have two events, event A and event B, which means the sum of those two events will equal to 1, and a probability equal to 1 means it's a certainty. So either one is going to happen, either the event A or the event B. If you do your calculations and all, and you have the event A having like 75% chance of happening by comparison to event B, which is 25, the more likely and the more logical outcome that is going to happen is event A. Logic indicates that. Or like, let's say you have a chemical reaction between two components, and let's say the first one finishes before the second one, or the second one finishes before. It doesn't matter. You'll have a reactive that's going to finish before, and one that's going to remain. That is a certainty. Unless, of course, and when you have the equivalence, you'll have to take into consideration that both of them, the quantity of I'll paraphrase it in French. La quantité de matière de l'espèce A divisé par le coefficient le coefficient multiplié par l'élément est égal à la quantité de matière de l'espèce B divisé par le coefficient. That's where you have the equivalence. C'est là où vous trouvez le point d'équivalence. Logic indicates that. Common sense, once again. Or like, let's say you are inert. It means either two things. Either you're walking a straight and uniform movement, or the sum of the forces applied is equal to 0. Common sense, once again. Am I like do I come from the future or do I come from space for understanding those things? No. Even though I studied them many years ago, I still remember them to this day because these are factual evidences. Now let's get to the point of wrestling. When you write something or like you create a persona, that persona has to be consistent. And the decisions that go along have to have sense. When you're like establishing someone as a legit, yeah, you can have him sometimes lose. Either to put over someone and all, it's understandable. But if you're like building someone, either you have them lose dirty, like outside interference, DQ or whatever, and you protect them when you know that that someone is going to be reliable, not someone that's going to be done in about a few years. That's common sense. And yeah, when you have someone that will succeed and become a movie actor and blah, 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 that will be beneficial for both of you. That will be beneficial for the wrestling company and for the movie company. Because when they see how good and talented you are, and they know that you came from WWE or whichever the case might be, they'll say, you know what? Wrestling's actually not that bad since they brought up this guy. And you'll have more eyeballs. You'll have more of a better reputation. You'll have better ratings, etc., etc., so on and so forth. But no, you nerds, aka the marks, aka the cretins, the sewer mutant dorks, as I call you, the neckbeards. No, you want it to be niche just for me.
No, it's my thing. It's my thing. I don't share it. This is my little pony.
That's how you'll be doing. No, fuck you. A TV show is meant to be for everyone. Are they things that everyone is gonna like? Not necessarily. But you think, as I go back to the example of the definition of WWE, which is wrestling content while entertaining people worldwide. Not rocket science. I'm not asking you to build me a rocket and send it to Mars or to Jupiter. I'm not asking you that, you freaking morons. God, you piss me off with your stupidity. You're lucky you neckbeards aren't in front of me, because I would bitch slap you to death in order to bring some common sense into you. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit angry because those freaking morons really piss me off with their stupidity. Is it that hard to be intelligent? Is it that hard? No, it's not. At least, I'm not asking you to be geniuses, but at least use that fucking brain of yours if it still functions correctly. Or unless it's too primitive that even a cat or like a dog is smarter than you people. I assume that's the case. Knowing the stupid responses that ratings don't matter, they're more profitable. Yeah, more profitable making money for themselves while destroying the reputation of a venue. That's not a working business. That's not how it works. That's how a scammer's way works. That's not how a professional company works. I'll give you another example. Let's say you have like the company Dell, the company that provides computers and all. Let's say that company scams you for like an exorbitant price for a computer, while this computer is completely mediocre. Are you gonna buy it and keep on buying it from them? And encourage them? Absolutely not. If you're not satisfied with their services, you'll tell them to fuck off. And you'll go to another company. Logic once again. Oh wait, logic is a foreign concept to you nerds. It's a foreign concept. That's why probably you hate me. And as I said it, fuck it. I'll embrace this heel persona. How about that? I'll embrace it. I'll become an Andrew Tate. Just to piss you off. Since my takes piss you off, fuck it. I'll stand by them, and fuck you, you can eat a dick. And y'all can kiss my big white ass. To those nerds, that's the message. But to you guys, and to other people that want this product to be good again, what I'm telling you, I will be giving ideas and all, and I want it to be good again. And if you guys want it to be good again, you need to make people like myself, TWRP, King Mike, and the good ones gain more subs and more notoriety. Instead of listening to people like your JD from New York, your Walt Clyde, your other morons that will kiss your asses or shit on the product just to shit on it without giving solutions to the problem. When you're in problem solving mode, which is another attention rant to explain things the way how rational things are in real life. Let's say you have a problem. I'll give an example as a car problem. Let's say I'll take an example of a Renault of the early 2000s, whether it could be a Laguna or a Megane, whichever the case might be. Let's say you have a warning message, electronic fault. Which are the assumptions that you can go from? Common sense indicates that you have to either check either the fuse box that is near the battery, which is called in French, le boîtier de servitude intelligent, or the positive terminal. Something around there. These are the two main causes that will cause you an electronic fault message on an older Renault from the early 2000s. Is it that hard to understand? Absolutely not. Let's say Another example, card key not detected. That doesn't mean that your card reader is messed up. It means that there is a problem in the card. The card is not recognized. Am I like Einstein to understand those things? No, I'm just a human on earth with a random guy that actually has common sense. What you do is you fix the I know in French it's called un transpondeur, in order to have your card be recognized by the lecture, by the reader of the card, the card reader. Is it that hard to understand? Absolutely not. Common sense. Once again. And as I said, if you want this product to be good again, what you guys need to is encourage people like myself, TWRP and all, by subscribing, turning on the notifications, sharing around our content in order for content of people like myself, King Mike, TWRP, Casual Q, The Hater, J Rants, even my guy The Original and all, even though he does his videos in French. Those guys that actually understand it gain more views and more notoriety, because at least we're giving counter examples how to fix the problem. You don't just shit on a, let's say you want a product to be better. You just shit on it to shit on it. No, you shit on it while giving advices, while giving solutions to the problem, and solutions that make sense, not irrational solutions that will just a pop. Sorry, I burped. Sorry. A pop. Oh, Triple H is such an amazing booker. No. Anything to justify. Johncena wanted to go on like that. No. Any reasonable person that has a modicum of self-respect would not want to get cucked. Are you people that stupid? I know what they'll say. The Hollywood thing. Hollywood, it's a part of the ritual and all. And it's another topic. It's another topic. And humiliation things are a common thing. That's not new. Ever since the dawn of time, those things were real. But when you're like establishing a character on TV and all, you stick to what you started. You don't go to something that has no cohesion or correlation with the previous thing you started. Logic, people, logic. Type in logic on people and learn. Type in logic on Google, you freaking marks, and learn it and stop deluding yourselves. And as I said it, I'm not going to lower my standards to please you, and I'm not going to accept mediocrity and pretend it's better than it is just because some charlatans want me to. Y'all can kiss my white ass. So overall, I think that's about it for the rant on John Cena deserves better. Triple H is a petty jackass, and Marks are being stupid. I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. And if you like similar contents, I'll be doing a playlist on the rant and how to fix things, and I'll be adding it. As for the next video, will be the how I think things should be fixed on JCW and all. And the awesome on John Cena will be done on Thursday, hopefully. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I apologize if I was a bit vulgar and all, because those IWC nerds really pissed me off with their stupidity. And Triple H being such a petty, spiteful, vindictive jackass really infuriates me. And it infuriates me that people are still defending him, even though the damage that he's done is very flagrant. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give this video as much likes as possible in order to help the algorithm favor your boy. Comment. For the links, you can send them either in the comments or in posts. And if you like, let's say, you like have suggestions of ideas and all, you can make them free. Express them in the comment section. You're more than welcome, my peeps. And you know how you guys mean the world to me. And spread around so that we can get more of an influence and we can help our community grow even more. So with that being said, I'll see you next time and peace out.